Now I want you guys to beware. This might piss some of you off. She's late. She's old. She's tired. She's dried up. Clean the nasty ass wax out your fucking ears and respect that the motherfucking queen is back in this bitch, okay? Sorry, the barb took over me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So judging by the title, you guys can see that we will be discussing how the Queen of Rap has recently regained her throne in 2022. And how exactly did she get there? I know y'all are wondering, well, Brad, why do you even think she's on top right now? She's late, she's old, she's tired, she's dried up. We'll get into that. We'll show you exactly what late, tired, and dried up looks like. So what has been able to help Nicki get back on top? And the funny thing is, it's something that she's had since the beginning. Over the past 4 years, the Barbz seemed to be the only one who was able to support Minaj in the wake of disaster. She's went through a number of rap beefs. She's been accused of things. She has actually been put through a lawsuit under false pretenses over something her loved one did not do, allegedly. But it's been interesting to see that she is still around. Usually things like this would actually take out artists, but not Miss Minaj. And we do have the Barbz to thank for that. Some of the things the Barbz have been able to do in this year alone, they were able to ride Do We Have a Problem, her comeback single, all the way up to the top 3. It landed at number 2, and it actually stayed on the chart for 13 weeks. And to some that doesn't seem like a lot, but considering in 2020 her actual number 1 hit, Trolls, only stayed on the charts for a little over a month, that's a big deal for Miss Minaj. There was no way in fucking hell we were gonna let her come back with the big song with the hottest rapper out and it not do numbers, and it did. So the Barbz have also been able to support Nicki through a lot of her beefs, be it Cardi B, her husband's alleged victim, Miss Hoff, and allegedly Miss Megan Thee Stallion. We don't know how true that is, but shout out to the Barbz. The Barbz have held Nicki down, and shout out to them for getting their hands on that confessional from her husband's alleged victim. Shout out to all the things that the Barbz have been able to do. Okay, so I feel like we've talked about the Barbz enough for now, so I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is the charts. Yes, I am a chart queen. I love talking about the charts. I love reading the charts. So let's just be honest. From about, I would say 2017, starting with Run Up with Major Lazer. That was the first Nicki song that didn't do well, but was probably projected to be a commercial success. I think it finished at 66, and it only stayed on the chart for 1 week. So for my people who don't quite understand how chart history works, basically a lot of times an artist's success is based on how well they perform on the Billboard music charts. Now, how it's calculated, we won't get into it too much. I know it's based off of streams and actually buying the records and maybe a few other things. Nicki has went through a lot of mixed charting over the past few years. I know for a fact No Frauds, her 2017 rap single, it debuted, I don't know where it debuted, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, but it peaked at 14, and I think it was off the chart within a month, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. It didn't really last long, but it was an iHeartRadio supported hit, but it just didn't last long. So over the past 4 years or so, Nicki chart history has not been the best. When we look at her very beginning stages and some of her longest charting hits like Super Bass, which charted for almost a whole year, I believe it's 39. Production, what is it? Is it 39? Okay. Some of her other long running hits like Only, which I believe was 25 weeks long. Nicki is not impacting radio and the charts how she once used to. Some would say it's because she's aging out of music and typically they want to reserve all that attention for new artists, but we know legends usually ride out on the charts. Shout out Beyonce, Rihanna, Jay-Z, Kanye. So between the years 2018 and 2020, she had a few singles that I just want to talk about. Her comeback summer single Megatron debuted and peaked at 20, and it was only on the charts for 5 weeks, which is a little fishy because Megatron was absolute fun radio hit. It was a huge sample. I believe it's the same sample she used for Freaks with French Montana. But it was a very fun record and it was very fitting for the summer, but it just didn't seem to stick. And I'm not sure why, but most of the public just believe, oh, well, it just wasn't a good song. It didn't stick. Why wouldn't it? But Starship stuck. We wanted to hear Starships, but we didn't want to hear Megatron. I don't know. Another great example I love to use is Good Form. Good Form had all the makings to be Anaconda Part 2 and an amazing twerk hit, especially when you had City Girls come out with Twerk featuring Cardi B around that same time and Tyga's Dip. You would believe that Nicki, an established artist, would have a better chance at making a twerk anthem around the same time. They both came out during the winter season, and they both were just kind of fun records. Why did Twerk take and not Good Form take? Even if two songs sound similar or are of the same vein, they both can get pushed. And why wouldn't we push the person who's been around longer? But enough about the negatives. In 2022, we've actually been able to rebound with Miss Minaj, which helped her reclaim her throne this year. Some of her newer hits have been able to stay on the chart for pretty much stretches that we have not seen since earlier in her career. For example, like I mentioned, her comeback single, Do We Have a Problem, actually stayed on the chart for 13 weeks. That is a big deal considering another collab she did in 2020, Trolls, only did 5 weeks. And then as of late, Nicki actually broke a record that we have not seen broken in over 20 years by the Miss Lauryn Hill. She debuted as a solo female rap artist at #1. So I don't know if you guys understand how big that is, but that is fucking epic. She broke a record that her idol originally broke, and it took 20 years to happen, and only Nicki did it. No other female rapper, it's no shade, but they just didn't do it. Like, they came in at one point, but they didn't do it. Like, I mean, they rose to #1. Some of them have more #1s, and we clap it up for them, but they didn't do it. So Super Freaky Girl, which seems to be one of her most promising singles this year, debuted at #1, and on top of that, it's been in the top 10 for over a month. We have not seen that out of Miss Minaj in ages, and I'm not being shady. We have not seen that probably since Anaconda. Nicki has not been able to stay in the top 10 for such a long time due to her relationships in the industry, and this is more so a reason to believe that, you know, things are changing over. So last but not least, why Miss Minaj is reclaiming her fucking throne is due to all the accolades and the acknowledgement that has been pouring in the whole year. So we'll just start off with MTV, being that it is the most recent as of late. Nicki was not only the host, and she did not only win Best Hip Hop Video for comeback single Do We Have a Problem that debuted and peaked at #2, but she was honored with one of the biggest awards you can get as an artist and an icon, and that is the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. She will now join the likes of Katy Perry, Beyonce, Britney Spears, Rihanna. Nicki has also been able to score a lot of brand deals this year, and they're not your typical brand deals like No Shade to Sweetie with the Crocs and the Champions, but these are smart brand deals to me. Nicki has now been elected to be the creative director of Maxim magazine, as well as taking in some ownership and max some betting. So people are like, I don't bet, I don't do this. It's not for your broke ass. It's for the people who actually have money to bet on horses and poker and blackjack and shit. But it's not a run-of-the-mill brand deal. And this is where the money is at. This is where the real money is at. No shade to you if you can't afford it, but this is something that feels a little more permanent, and I like that. So shout out to Nicki for that. Nicki actually took 5 rappers who I feel like had medium buzz and put them on her #1, yes, her chart-topping hit from Billboard, and she pushed out a remix featuring ALL BARBZ, that's my fave, JT, Bia, Katie Got Bands or Katie Got Stats, I'm not quite sure of her name, and then Malibu Mitch. And it's a pretty solid remix, and it actually has the girls in a tizzy, but that's for another video, for another time. But Nicki has done something that we still have not seen done yet. I guess the last time we might have seen it was Ladies Night. I don't even know who produced that record, who's on that record, who even did that record. In addition, something that we actually have not seen in the streaming era with Nicki is she has become what some would call the playlist favorite. She was on the cover photo as well as the #1 song on Spotify's Today's Hits playlist, as well as having to deal with Apple Music spatial audio. So it's no denying that Nicki is honestly winning in 2022, and she is re-peaking, sis. She has entered a new prime. If you can't see it, put some fucking glasses on, clean your fucking eyes out, wash your mouth out with soap, clean the nasty ass wax out your fucking ears, and respect that the motherfucking queen is back in this bitch, okay? Sorry, the barb took over me. As we were saying, Nicki has had her ups and her downs. She's not perfect, but nobody is. When y'all are making claims on her like y'all are the judge and the jury, remember she's human too. She bleeds like us. She puts her pants on one leg at a time. She shits like us, guys. But whether it be favorable or unfavorable, mind your goddamn business, bitch. She remains dedicated to her craft, and she still has a knack for learning new things and keeping up with trends, but remaining herself. And her undying spirit ended up helping the hands turn over for her and reclaim a prime. But I'm gonna go off script a little bit, so let's turn it over to y'all. What do you guys think? Do you guys believe that Nicki is seeing a new prime? Do you guys feel like she's winning this year? Do you feel like she's trash this year? Sound off in the comments below so we can have a discussion, because I love to argue. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Before I go, make sure you guys stream Super Freaky Girl.